trees in the backwoods night. Red lights cutting through the pine in flight. Bigfoot stomping with his youngling beard. Whispers of tales that ain't too clear. UFOs buzzing solo through the haze. Howling banshees set the forest ablaze. Jersey devil howls drink rays to the sky. Drunken cryptids party until the morning's night. Yeah. It's showtime, running wild in the moonlight. Stars burn down, watch the freaks all take flight.
To good times.
Raise your glasses to the mysteries divine. It's showtime, let the cryptids realign.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Drunken Cryptids. I'm Matthew Orton, and tonight I got a great guest coming on, and I heard him a couple of months ago on a show, and I can't for the life of me remember the show now, and I feel completely embarrassed and my brain just went goodbye. You know how it is, you hit record and all of a sudden everything goes away. That's why I have a notebook. I should have wrote it down. But I heard this guy, and a lot of his theories and a lot of his investigations are really unique and kind of go outside the typical playbook from what most people do. And that is pretty much what I think is what needs to be done in this field, in this community, for us to get to the bottom of what we're trying to, figure out what this creature actually really is. So, because, there's everybody that's in the flesh and blood camp, there's people in the woo camp, there's people in the middle, and, we've interviewed everybody across the board. So, the more interviews we can get with the more eyewitness accounts, the more theories we can gather, the more we're going to be able to get to the bottom of this thing. Before I bring them on, though, real quick from the house stuff, blademedia.com. Check them out, you guys. They're the ones that did our logo, and they are in charge of the website. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate it. And, of course, everybody on the team. You guys are great. Tommy, the producer, wonderful job, Tommy. We wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for you. I appreciate the hard work you do and the drama you put up with me on and the yelling and screaming that you put up with me on. Y'all get to see the nice version on camera. Tommy gets to see the unnice version. So does Jacob, and so does Chris, and so does everybody else. But without further ado, though, so coming all the way from one of my favorite states, one of my favorite towns in the state. I absolutely love the town. And I've got Army buddies that are down there. I've got my own paranormal stories from down there. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of stuff. But you guys, everybody give real quick. This is Rod. Rod coming in from the Bexar County Bigfoot Research Group. Am I right?
Yeah, I kind of, it started out with the research group part of things, but I nixed the research group because if I can kind of explain a little bit, there's so many groups out there that have the Oklahoma awareness of Sasquatch holding spatulas group, you know what I mean? Like, you've got, Bigfoot, in South Florida, with, Electric Ovens Association Conservatory, group, there's just so, these groups get so wordy that to me, this is my opinion. It just got annoying. I want it short and sweet. And, the Bexar County Bigfoot is just where it's at. That's where I leave it. And, the research group and all that stuff, I kind of just, and not that if you said it, I'd be like, oh no, don't do that. But, I kind of just get that out. Just, hey, do short and sweet. Bexar County Bigfoot, and it has a good ring to it. You have to admit.
It does. It's got a great ring to it. I mean, Bexar County Bigfoot and Drunken Cryptids almost kind of like they go hand in hand,
Hey, man. Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Man. Oh, so I do, and again, I want to apologize. I know you and me have been trying to get together for a couple of months. Your work schedule, my life schedule, how they conflict a lot of times. So, out of the norm, and I think for both of us on a Friday evening, here we are. I'm still in the brand new studio. I'm still working on the studio back here.
Yeah.
Tavern number 2. So, well, my old place, I had an outdoor bar. We called it the Tavern. I record down there. We had the TV set up, everything.
Cool.
It was awesome. So, like, I try and put really cool little things in the background, casting. I've got the Holy Grail from Indiana Jones behind me, you know, which is cool. I even got the
Yeah.
little cube from Hellraiser somewhere back here,
Oh
and just
wow.
yes, I mean, yeah, it's really, yeah, it's actually really, we're not going to open it, but yeah.
What do they call that? There was a name, like a
No, I
specific.
can't remember.
And
Someone's gonna put in the comments.
I used to know the name, and I'm just like, it escapes me.
Yeah, but what I really like though is the Holy Grail,
Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Indiana
Oh,
Jones,
that.
man.
Oh, that. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that looks like it can hold a lot of beer.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. So my buddy Vince last year, his birthday, that's what we did. We drank beer out of it for his birthday. So we'd be like, "Oh, you have chosen wisely," So,
Yes,
oh
yes.
man. But oh well, real quick. So let's get into. So what got you involved into wanting to research?
Hmm.
I didn't mention the town, for obvious
Yeah,
reasons. I mean, if you want to,
yeah,
that's up to you where you're at. But
yeah. So, I'm based out of San Antonio, Texas.
I love San
Um,
Antonio.
w-
I got kicked out of the Alamo.
you did. That's for another episode. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's kind of comical. I mean, I was in the army. I was stationed Fort Hood. I mean, people listen to the show, they know. But yeah, I got kicked out of the Alamo. It involved the Riverwalk beforehand. That should give you a hint. So yeah, it was
Oh
quite a
man. Oh
yeah.
man.
Thanks, Rick.
To
Thanks, Rick.
you remember the person that helped get you kicked out, right?
Yeah, he's Rick is my brother from another mother, and we ended up having a great meal. We had a weird me and Rick and my buddy Jimmy.
Hmm.
We all met at Fort Carson together. We all went to Cree together. We all went to Fort Hood together, all at the same time.
Yeah.
And that never happens.
That's family, dude. That's
Yep.
family. Right
So
there.
Jimmy's in Florida. Rick is down in Texas, to where in San Antonio,
Yeah.
that's where he's from. And so I saw Rick. I think last time me and Rick saw each other was a couple of years ago. But we took a road trip out to Roswell, Tombstone,
Oh
in,
man.
in 2021. Just two old Army buds for a week.
Tombstone. Dude, you went to
I have
Tombstone?
I have stories about Tombstone.
I've been to Tombstone, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of wanted to buy a house over there just to say they live in Tombstone. Honestly, I really did. Like the area, like where all this, the saloon, all the OK Corral, all that stuff is that right? Like that's
Yeah,
cool. I got you. But driving up to that point, it's kind of neat. Like, I think some of the little pieces of land that are there are really kind of obscure, and I really liked it. Like, I'm like, dude, how much does the house cost over here? Like, is there a realtor? Like, what do I need to do here? Like, it was cool, man. Like, I love Tombstone. It's kind of neat. And I asked for a Dr. Pepper there, and they don't have Dr. Pepper there because they've got Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday, and it tastes exactly like Mr. Pibb and Dr. Pepper. Like, it was Doc Holliday, and I'll never forget that. It was amazing.
I never tried I didn't try that. We got there on a Tuesday, and so
Yeah,
we did Taco Tuesday at Vogelman's, which used to be the
nice.
bowling alley. And so the bar step is a bowling alley, and which was cool. And they were telling us, yeah, we just started remodeling. This is what we started doing. They told us the history of the place. And
Yeah,
that night, it was really cool. It was on a Tuesday night. Every saloon we went to, everybody was super friendly, was super nice, was super, telling us their encounters they've had. And we weren't there for
yeah,
ghost hunting or anything. We're just like, how cool would it be? So it started off with the Eagles song, Standing on a Corner in Winslow, Arizona. And
yep.
I called Rick and I said, hey, man, do you want to get a picture of you and me standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona? And he goes, yeah. And that started a week later. We were on our way to, yeah. So we figured we'd hit Roswell and Tombstone, then
Nice,
Flagstaff,
man.
then go through. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're just there to drink beer. Big Nose Kate's place. We saw something weird in there.
Oh,
And then
wow.
that next morning, we went to the Birdcage Theater and took the tour. And I actually got
Yeah,
tossed
yeah.
by something on my right shoulder, walking up the
What?
stairs on the stage. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, dude, something just touched me. And he goes, oh, they probably don't want you here. I was like, no, that was not the touch I got. That was a nice caress. And then we found out the basement of Tombstone, below the stage down there, that's where they have the museum for the prostitutes.
Oh, whoa. So maybe it was, you
Might have
know,
been an old working girl going, hey, what's up, cowboy? And I was like, I am not a
she
cowboy.
she liked you, you know.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
It really is,
So,
yeah. That's yeah.
see, well, you're rocking it out, too. You got a great beard going on there.
Hey man, you know, I it's funny, like I used to just like detest gray hair like when I was younger. I was like, "Ah, there's no way." And now look how it's funny how this happened to me. I think it was on purpose. Um, but I embrace the gray, dude. Like, come on.
No,
Like
you're doing
it's
great. Mine's coming in spots. And my daughter, I wear glasses. And so, I got hurt in the military and stuff. So I supposed to use a cane when I have a hard time walking. And she was like, can you dye your beard? I was like, no, no. She was like, you look old, you know. I'm like, I don't. She gives me a hard time.
great encouraging words from your kids. Yeah, I get that too as well.
We have a good relationship though. I'm not gonna lie.
That's good.
Me and my two little kids, we got a good relationship. They're my biggest fans of the show, and they're like what we
That's
talk about
good,
off air
man.
and stuff like that. They are so excited for this
Yeah,
to happen and everything. So, well,
that's awesome, man.
let's get into you
Yeah.
talking about what happened. So this is your show. So
Yes.
you see
Yeah.
me. I'll probably turn my camera off from time to time to let you, so the camera focuses on you. Um,
All good. Yeah.
So this, because I do want to hear about how you got involved.
Yeah.
I've heard already, but I want to give my audience a chance. I got a great audience; they're super smart. Well, I didn't even talk about you guys. If you've had an encounter and you want to come to the show, email me drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Check out our Patreon and check out Buy Me a Coffee. There we go. Okay, all right.
There you go. Hey.
I had to get
Hey, I've
that
got
more to the front of the house.
I love the plugs only because if you've got a good support as far as your listeners and or subscribers, those are the people you take care of, man, because they take care of you. And I'm a big believer in that. I really am. But the way I got into this, it was a very unique situation, honestly. I think I told this story once with my buddy Drew from Cryptid Warfare. Um, I was on disability. I was on long-term disability, as a matter of fact, and it wasn't anything physical that I was hurt by. It was my mental health. It really was. It was shot. I was just going through life and hurting, and just really not knowing, where to go or who to talk to, and to be quite honest with you, if I can, to be candid, I was suicidal, and I had a plan. I had everything that I was going to do, and I fully believe that God really came in and thwarted that awful plan and set me back on a new trail, so to speak, a new plan and a new life. And so, that took me into disability long term because of what I was dealing with. And so I'm home. I've got all this
Well, let me.
time on my hands.
I want to
Go ahead.
pause real quick on that one. First, I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
thank you for sharing that. Um,
Mm,
here, I do a show that drop it close to September 10th on the date, which is Suicide Awareness Day.
mm.
I'm a very big advocate for suicide prevention and awareness. Um,
Good.
so I definitely preach about it. I'm a survivor.
Oh,
Um,
wow. God bless you,
so
man.
I have a penguin semicolon tattoo.
Nice.
So
Yeah, your story's not over.
exactly, it's not over.
Yeah,
So and
yeah.
and as you said too about with God coming in, I'm glad you brought that up because with what happened to me, it was a really weird awakening, and
Mm,
it was a good awakening. And ever since then, my life has gotten so much better. And
Yeah, man.
so I definitely I talk about it, and maybe we'll talk off air and try and get you on the show for next year, because I do think that,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to men's mental health, I think it gets ignored a lot, pushed away a lot.
yeah. We men do not talk a lot about how they're feeling, how they're doing, because by nature we are providers. By nature we are dads. We're husbands. Whether if you want to believe it or not, you are. You were made to be a father. You were made to be a leader. Men really need to talk more about how they're doing, because when we don't, we internalize, and when we internalize, guess what happens? These things manifest itself in a physical way. That's why you got high blood pressure. That's why you've got all of these things that we just don't, because we don't talk about it. And it's going to wave its ugly head in one way, shape, or form. It really is. So you either get it together and go talk to somebody, put aside your pride, and talk to somebody about how you're really feeling, and get help, or you succumb, unfortunately, to what this stuff is doing to you. And I hope and pray anybody watching this does not ever succumb to those things, because there's so much help out there. So much. There really is no excuse, honestly. And so for
Email me
me,
if you need to talk to somebody. Shoot.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Talk to me. I'll take it too. Yeah, absolutely,
Yep.
man. I would love to. So for me, it's interesting. The Sasquatch research has a huge meaning to me, because it's such a part of my life that was kind of ugly, but also kind of a story of redemption in a way, I think.
Love it.
Yeah. So I was on disability, and I was one night I was binge watching YouTube, and I watched a gentleman's YouTube channel out of Utah, and he presented this evidence that was something that I had never heard of. Now you have to go back and as far as Sasquatch research and all those things that were concerned, I was not aware of this. I was ignorant to the subject. Like I loved cryptids from a young age. I was at the book fair buying these books, Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster. I was into primates. I loved primates. Coco the gorilla. I don't know if you remember Coco the gorilla. She was one of the only primates to sign and communicate with humans. And she was just an amazing animal. I would almost say person in a way, because she had such a personality like a human. So I was always interested in those things, and I watched this gentleman's channel, and he presented his evidence with footprints, and he had some stories of encounters that he had with these creatures. But the one thing that stood out to me was that he presented evidence in the form of these wood structures. Now, I had no idea what these things were. To me, being ignorant to the subject, I thought, well, Sasquatch is in the great Northwest, and in Washington State, and there's one or two of them, and we saw the Patterson-Gimlin film, and that's one, and they're up there in Northern California, Washington State, whatever, and there was nothing here in Texas. There couldn't possibly be. And so this gentleman showed me a lot of his evidence that was just amazing to me, and these grand wood structures that were just teepees and these wigwams and lean structures, and so many crazy things that I thought there's no way a human would go out in the woods and do this. For what? Because these things didn't get rid of the rain. They didn't cover you for rain or wind or cold or the sunlight. It had nothing to do with that. These pieces were grand, and they were big, and they were amazing. And some of them didn't even grow there. These trees didn't even grow in that area. But yet here they were put together in this crazy looking wood structure. And it blew my mind. I was just sitting there just going, what is this? Like, what? Why am I seeing this stuff? So anyway, so I binge watched all of his videos in one night. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I got to the last video. And the last video he put out was showing you his methodology and what he did to find this stuff, right? So he said, hey, look, if you think that this is a hoax, you think I'm like lying, you think I'm putting you on, follow this. I'm going to show you step by step how to find this stuff. Okay. So I watched the video. The next day, I took my 12-year-old son out with me. I went out and we followed the criteria and we found a wood structure the same day that we went to go look for a wood structure. And for me, I thought, there's no freaking way, man. Like, this has got to be a hoax. This has got to be people just put me on. Like, in my mind, there's a group of people out there that go out in there and do this stuff. And, when you go and find it and they jump out and they go, aha, you dumb idiot or whatever, and it never happened. Never happened. It was a beautiful A-frame structure. It was probably about in excess of 5 foot, almost 6 foot tall. It had bigger pieces that were just lined up to make this A-frame, and they were ripped out of the ground. They were not sawed or cut. They did not grow there. I know that for a fact. And it was just amazing. I froze. And if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see the first video that I put out, which was that video. And the first thing I say is like, there's no way. I've got the camera focused on this wood structure, and I'm like, no way. And then you hear my son going, oh my God. And we're just sitting there just going, what the heck? And we checked this thing out, and it was amazing. In the inside of it, it was mostly dirt. And you got to remember, around this area, it's mainly leaves and thick grass. But in this spot where this wood structure was built, it was like they pulled all the grass out. And it was a flat area, dirt floor. And there was leaves inside of it, but they weren't fluffy. They were just pressed. Like something with weight was in there. And so, and then next to it, maybe about 6 or 7 feet away, there was a tree stump, probably about 2.5 feet tall. And it was whittled down like almost like an hourglass shape. In the middle, it was just chipped away. And then the bottom, root system came in. And at the top, it opened up a little bit more, thicker. And there was wood chips all around this thing. And then right next to it were some rocks that had sharp edges. So I kind of put 2 and 2 together. And I said, whoever this was taking this sharp-edged rock and chipping away at this stump and left it for whatever reason. And again, you got to remember, at this point in time, I was not educated at all in the subject or its evidence or anything like that. Nothing. So I'm talking from a perspective of somebody that's just has no idea, right? I was blown away. So what do you do after that? Well, you call your mom and you bring her out with you too, which is what I did. So I brought my mom out there, and I'm like, Mom, I'm like, you know me, I'm your son. Like, this is really weird. Like, let me show you what I'm seeing and what this man is saying that it is a part of. He said, okay. Because if anybody's going to shoot you straight, it's going to be your mom, right? So I took my mom out there, and we found another new structure. with my mom out there in the wilderness, and she was like, I don't know. Like she was like, in fact, there's a video, I think it's a short video, she says, and I think she's kind of like overwhelmed by what she's seeing. She says something with the brain made this. Like, what? I don't know what it is. And I'm like, I don't know either. This is interesting. So that started the journey. And at that point in time, you got to remember, I wasn't on a schedule. I wasn't working. So every day for 6 months, I was out in the woods. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time to gather documentation. I immerse myself in the subject. I want to know who are the experts. Who do I talk to? Who do I, what do I do? Like, how do I? So part of this whole thing was connected by a Facebook group called Project Go and See, which was founded by the same guy that was in Utah, with the YouTube channel that I binge watched. And the whole premise was, if you don't believe me, go and see. That was the whole thing, Project Go and See, right? So I was a part of this group, and I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start posting my videos and my pictures of these wood structures. Mind you, again, I'm ignorant. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just talking through the video, like I'm just going, well, there's this piece over here, and this is weird, So I'm just kind of narrating a little bit, and people are like, whoa, what the heck? What are you finding? Where are you from? Like, and I'm like, San Antonio, Texas. Like, Texas? What? They're down there in Texas? And I had no idea until a gentleman from the BFRO got a hold of me, which is just a sweetheart of a man. His name is Christopher Noel, and he's just a very cool guy who kind of took me under his wing and said, "Hey, man, I see what you're posting, and it's blowing my mind." He's like, "Have you put out voice recorders?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." He's like, "Let me send you one." He sent me a voice recorder, and he showed me how to use it just on video and stuff. And I hit it where I thought it might be active, and then I looked at the audio files, kind of listened to them, and I sent it to him, and he went further into the audio files. He's like, "Dude, there's wood knocks. There's like," and I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Listen," and sure enough, wood knocks. I was like, "What?" I was freaking out because you got to realize, like, I'm. And here's one thing I will tell everybody: I'm smack dab in the city. Supposedly, Bigfoot and Sasquatch, they don't go into suburban areas. Well, I kind of beg to differ because I think they do. Given the right lay of the land and the right situation, they do. They absolutely do. And the only reason why I say that is because I'm referencing a lot of other encounters from reputable podcasts that will tell you otherwise. So the idea of me grabbing all this equipment and tents and going out into the wilderness and having this grand expedition crumbled because now it was in my own backyard. And that was unnerving to me. And it was very interesting at the same time. So I went and I hit that recorder, and he analyzed it and showed me all the wood knocks. And then he put me on his podcast. That was the first interview that I did. It's called, the podcast is called The Nearness of You. And he interviewed me, and he showed my evidence, and he was like, "Man," he's like, you're showing stuff that a lot of people may not ever get to see." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, prints and wood structures and stuff like this is like, nobody thinks about that stuff. He's like, it's a part of the experience though. He's like, go back and watch and listen, or listen to Sasquatch Chronicles and listen to how many people go, "Yeah, there's this weird teepee thing on my property, and I was looking at it, and what the heck is it? And oh, here comes the creature." Like, whoa, it's a part of the evidence. And I thought, whoa, okay. So what I did was I took it a step further and I looked at the prominent creek that is in my town that runs very north, all the way outside of San Antonio and all the way through San Antonio down south into other little towns. This creek is huge. It is huge. Now, attached to that creek are wilderness parks attached to the creek. Okay? There's no camp.
Pause it real quick.
Go ahead.
I interviewed a guy last year from San Antonio. He had saw a craft in Fort Carson, and he lives in San Antonio now. In his backyard, I think, is the same creek that you're describing.
Yeah,
He's
Salado
never seen
Creek.
anything. Yeah, he's never seen anything. His buddy came over and saw something. The neighbors were complaining about something that was down there by the river, and he actually had some growls and some weird noises, but he never had a Class 8 out of that. So when you were talking about the creek, I was going, I think I know the creek you're talking about. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the creek is called Salado Creek, and historically it was used by the Native Americans in 1800s. The Native Americans used that creek to go into San Antonio before San Antonio grew out to where it's at now. So it was used. In fact, there was a battle. The Battle of Salado Creek. That's a historical battle that happened. Fur trappers. A lot of people use that as a highway. So remember that word highway, because I fully believe that these creeks, greenways, rivers are highways. Note it, and here's the other thing. If you don't believe me, go listen to encounters. A lot of them will tell you, I was by a river. I was by a creek. Oh, I saw the creature. Guess what? They're using those creeks and greenways to go in and out of the area. Now, it can't just be a piece of wilderness that has no rhyme or reason and go, oh yeah, well there's probably Bigfoot activity in here. Well, no, because there has to be passage in and out of that area. There has to be passage in and out of that area. And the habitat has to support big game. Has to. These creatures, they probably eat a lot. And so for us, it's white-tailed deer that's here. And there's abundance of white-tailed deer. And in these parks that are adjoined to this creek, there's no hunting and there's no camping. So you've eliminated a lot of human interaction, so to speak. Because you can't hunt and you can't camp. So the white-tailed deer are healthy, and they are. I mean, I've seen some good-looking bucks. I'm like, I've almost thought about poaching at some point in time because they look so. There were some really good-looking bucks out there. I'm just like, man, I could probably pop one off and just dress them right here, and But obviously, I didn't do that. So anyway, so there's your food source. You've got the usual suspects. Raccoons, possums. Here we've got very rare. You'll hear about a mountain lion, ring-tailed cats. We've got ring-tailed cats, which are also very rare to encounter as well. But nevertheless, the main food source would be the white-tailed deer, and then you've got a water source that's about 2-3 miles away from here. I live on the Salado Creek, by the way. So
that's funny. There's that guy who lives on the creek as well. I wonder how close you guys are to each other. I might have to find his number and reach out to him.
Well, tell him I'm north central San Antonio, and see what he says, because the Salado Creek is huge. So, and also at one point in time, and I'll get into this later, at the most southeast area of San Antonio, the Salado Creek actually has a spring. It's got spring water running through it, which is almost like a river, pretty much in a way. And it's clear, cold, spring water. It's beautiful. But where I'm at, there's no spring water. But there is a small lake that's close by where you can say that that is a very viable water source for anybody, whether it be human, cryptid, animal, it doesn't matter. There's a very viable water source right there. So, understanding those aspects and the lay of the land, I thought, man, I've got a recipe for some really good cryptid activity. And again, nobody's hunting these deer. So they're fair game. They really are as far as these cryptids are concerned. So I went to all of the wilderness parks attached to the Salado Creek. I pinned them, each one. And every single park I went to had wood structures in them. And I thought to myself, okay, let's think about this logically. Is it people? And why would people build these things? What's the purpose? I can't tell you, because there is really, to me, in my mind, there's no purpose to these things. Yeah, they look cool. They're kind of like a little hut and things like that. But what do they do, right? So, and in the process of finding all these wood structures, I found prints. I've casted 3 different prints. I've got 3 different castings, and they're not the best, but I know what I saw and I know what I casted. So I did all that. So that's where I started, and the focus has always been on the Salado Creek, because my work still isn't done in this area. It really isn't. I still have traces of activity that I think are very much well and alive. There's another creek that I've also started researching as well. That's a very prominent creek alongside of Salado Creek as well, that has activity, wood structures, things of that nature. And so that has been the focus of my research. Now, I do get a lot of pushback because there are these armchair researchers that don't think that these creatures can go into suburban areas. I think that's a bunch of crap, honestly, because these creatures are not above dumpster diving. They're not above getting a free meal. They're opportunistic. They really are. They're very aggressive. I know that for a fact. I've experienced some of the aggression. I didn't have a Class A, but
Well, before we
I've
get to
had.
the aggression, let me ask you some
Yeah.
questions about the structures.
Yeah.
I'm running with a theory here on
Yeah.
structures that involves my theory on their movement. Now, you said they're about 5 to 6 feet tall, correct?
More or less. Some of them can be a little bit taller, but yeah,
Okay.
on average.
Okay. So, all right, because we've got structures, and I've got 2 investigation areas that I'm doing here, and we
Yeah.
found a really, I don't know if I sent you the picture or not. We found a really
Yeah.
unique structure in Bald Knob, to where it was about probably only 4, maybe 4.5 feet tall, if
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was long. It was long, and you could tell it was not
Okay.
man. It was not nature made. It was actually made, and was on these people's hunting property. That the only people that can go
Mm-hmm.
on there is the family, and the family's not building structures out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, in next to the structure, we found a turtle shell with all the bones of the turtle in a neat little pile beside the shell. Like
That
somebody
makes.
sat
Yep.
there and just scooped it out, you know.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yep. Yep.
So I was kind of curious about that, because I'm thinking now, with the way Sasquatch moves, is more of the spider crawl movement, and I think they use that for stalking prey. To get up closer to prey, a big cat will
Right.
get down, what I mean,
Right.
and move, silently. And there's so many encounters now of the spider crawl, and most of the
Yes.
encounters, you hear a lot of these encounters, about 90% of them, people say it stood up, it stood up, it stood up,
Right. Right.
and so that's got me thinking, well, it stood up from what? And then
Mm-hmm.
also for the
Mm-hmm.
tracks, if you're looking at the tracks out there, we're thinking bipedal. And so all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
you're following the tracks in the mud, which is leaving great impressions, and all of a sudden they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it
Yes.
drops down and moves into a
Yes.
spider crawl, I think it
Mm-hmm.
evenly spreads its weight around. And
Sure.
if you look at your knuckles, right? If you only get 2 fingers indented into the dirt, that can
Mm-hmm.
easily be passed off as a deer track.
Sure. You bring up a very interesting point that, quite honestly, I've never heard, which is great because it makes all the sense in the world. Because if you listen to some researchers that have discovered tracks, they'll say there's one or two, and then it disappears. Where are they going?
Yep.
Where is it, right? So that what you just said that makes sense. Like I've it's interesting that you said that because I've never thought of that, man. But that's yeah, and so the knuckles, right? With maybe a whitetail track, right? Yeah, that makes sense, man. It really does. I never thought of that, but yeah, because for me, when I've casted a track, it's like one, two, and then where does it go? Why does it disappear? And that makes sense. That makes total sense, man. That's good. I like that.
Well, part of it
Yeah.
is so our second area that we've been investigating on these people's property north of Heber Springs here in Arkansas was our second night out there investigating. Our second day, our second time out there investigating. At night, Chris, he goes, I have eye shine. And we'd already seen a rabbit. We've seen an armadillo already with eye shine. So I'm thinking it's another one of those things. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, where? And he was probably about 7 feet from me to my right. So I took a couple steps towards him and I looked and boom, there it was. And these eyes were huge. I mean,
Wow.
they were big. They were about 6 inches apart. And I was like, whoa, that's big. Whatever that is, that's big. But
Wow. Yeah.
it was only about, about stomach high. And I was looking at it
Wow.
going, I was like, okay. And then it flowed. It flowed from left to right. It just went from boom. There was no head bob. There was no, like, you're walking or how any creature's going to move.
Hmm.
It stayed steady. It did not flinch. And then it dropped down lower. And when I got down lower, I'm slowly walking towards this thing. And it's probably about 15 feet from me. When I started walking towards it, I get about 10 feet
Wow.
and it blinks. And when it blinked, I'm not going to lie, Rod, I took a step back and I was like, whoa, okay, you're real.
Yeah. I
That's when
would too.
and, but I regained my composure real quick. And I was like, no, but it moved again as it lowered again from left to right in this fluid motion. And we're
Wow.
tracking it and I'm trying to walk up on it. And then it got super low to the ground. We're talking like to the ground and then gone. And I was about
Wow.
5 feet from that. And I rushed up to the fallen tree. It was right behind a fallen tree. And I'm using the flashlight and I'm trying to shine through the branches. I'm trying to get in there, look and see where this thing went. There was no noise. There was no nothing at all.
Yeah.
And, that's what kind of got me thinking about it. And plus, the tracks that we found, I found a really, really cool knuckle track. And I don't know if I sent it to you or not when we were messaging back and forth on Instagram.
No,
So,
no, I don't think you have. Yeah.
Well, I'll send it to you when we get done.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
a really neat impression. It's the whole hand. And we cast it.
Yeah.
And we did a 3D scan of it. JD from Tremor the Spirits, did a 3D scan and into 3D scan. And I wish I had that so I could show everybody. You can rotate it around.
Yeah.
And you can see all the digits, including a thumb impression.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Any dermal ridging by chance? Like any? No, that's hard to get, honestly.
Well, with the knuckle part, you're not going to really get too much of that. If it was the hand,
well,
then
but with like I'm talking about with the feet, like that you've seen any?
no. So the dirt up there is really grassy. It's really hard. And some of the tracks we found, it was a big track. In I want to say, we found 13. We found two. We found one 13-inch track, one 14-inch track. But it wasn't enough to really. We tried casting it, but it didn't really turn out very well. You
Yeah,
know,
it's hard. It's hard. I people think that people think that you just find these tracks just like they're just all over the place, and that really isn't the case.
yeah,
It's very
that's what
there. It
everybody
is.
wants.
Is that it? Is
Well, no,
yeah? Where's that from?
this is this is a copy of Hattie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, signed by Bob Gimlin.
That from Bob? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
That's amazing.
OG from Trembling with the Spirits actually got that for me this year.
Oh man, that's great.
He went there and he saw Bob and he goes, "I gotta get this for Matthew." And I was like, "Oh, you're good."
I've
So, but yeah,
got
so that's where
some.
my theory's going at.
Yeah, no, it's a very good theory actually. And it's funny. I've never thought of that, but that makes all the sense in the world. It's really cool. That's very enlightening, man. I that's good. I like that. I'm gonna
Thank you.
remember that because no, because
Well, use
because
it. Please use it when you're out there.
well, it's a thing where people go, well, where do they go? Like, why does it disappear? But what you bring up makes sense. Maybe it did one, two, and then goes, uh-oh, I need to drop down. It drops down, and then we've lost that print that we think should be, like a linear gate type of thing, right? Because we all know that, well, at least I can say any trackway that's been found has been a linear trackway, right? So the idea of it going one, two, and then disappearing is like, what? What are they doing? But what you present makes a lot of sense, and I like that. That's very good.
Well,
Very
part
cool.
of that too, though, is these structures too. I think they use them sometimes as hunting blinds. Because if also one thing
Yeah,
when you're looking out there for structures, where's the
yeah.
game trail at in comparison to the structure?
Usually right in front
And if they're
of the
using
game
this for
trail.
as a hunting blind, right?
Hmm.
And so one of my theories is so, you know, goes way back to the natives. Maybe they learned this from Sasquatch or vice versa on hunting blinds and stuff like that on how to hunt in these heavily
Right,
forested areas. So,
right.
like the structure we found at Bald Knob, there's two game trails on both sides. And if they're
Hmm.
in that spider crawl, how quick can they
Makes
pounce out
sense.
and grab something?
Right. The element of surprise, right?
Yep,
I did a video a while back. My wife is my partner, just so you know.
I love that.
Yeah, no, we go out together. We're a team. I go out by myself sometimes, which is not recommended. I don't recommend it to anybody. Anybody that's like amateur or trying to get in this, don't don't do it by yourself. I'm
No
the only
411.
knucklehead out. One of the only knuckleheads that are out there. But I do it during the day because the likelihood of me running into one of these things during the day out in my areas very, 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 very slim. Nighttime, that's a different story. That's a whole different world out there, man. Like you want to see these woods come alive, go out at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you'll experience things that you can't even explain because that's their time, dude. That's their area. That's what they do. Like nighttime is always where I believe most of the activity is going to happen. But my wife,
Which would
we
explain why
go
they
out
have eye shine because they're more of a nocturnal
exactly
creature. And a lot of people
right.
argue with the eye shine, saying no, because primates don't have eye shine, but a Sasquatch is not a primate, which I don't think it
No,
is.
not at all. I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think it's just a primate because if it was just a primate, we would have had one already. Period.
I
We
think it's
would
a
have had
separate
one.
sentient creature that we have on the planet.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to all theories and all ideas. I tend to believe that this is remnants of the Raphaim, which comes from the Nephilim. That's what I think that what we're experiencing is, and I can go into the whole rabbit hole thing of like, a why, but anyway,
That's another podcast. I'll get Joel back for that one.
that's a whole nother, right? Yeah, we'll bust out the Bible, bro, and we'll start
I'm down.
working on
That's.
it. But
I'll be honest with you. So
but
the Nephilim in old biblical history, Old Testament history, is a little side hobby of mine.
yeah, as it
Yep.
should be, because if you're looking at the present day right now, it's all happening. It's all happening. It really is. A lot of people are oblivious to that, and I hope that even if you watch this, that you'll go and crack open your Bible and look at Revelation and see what's going on, because it's kind of happening right now. But again, that's probably for another episode. But
That's another episode on the Drunken
that's a
Cryptids.
totally another. Yeah, absolutely. My wife is my partner, man. She's tough as nails. Like, we're gonna have a baby in March. We're gonna have a little girl. So it's awesome. And still,
Congratulations!
thank you. She's like, what is she, like 5 months, 4 months, 5 months, I think. And refuses to stay at home, and is out with me, pregnant. And my mom's like, Rod, like, got to be careful. She's pregnant. It's your wife. I understand. I get it. But guess what? This woman ain't going to take no for an answer. She's tough as hell, dude. And she's like, no, we're going out. And okay, where are we going next? What's the next spot, Rod? Like, what are we doing? Like, she's like...
I love it.
And it's amazing.
I love
She's
hearing
amazing.
stories like that. I love hearing, I don't know how to describe myself. I guess that almost that kind of hopeless romantic kind of guy. My mom and stepdad are best friends still to this day, and I watch them. And my mom is not into a lot of the stuff my dad is into, and vice versa. But by God, they went and did everything together. If my mom wanted to go antiquing when I was a kid, my dad was right there up early, and he was
There it
all
is.
smiles about it. And my dad, like, we're going to watch football. My mom would sit right there next to him, and watch football.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
my dad, whatever it was, they were in. I mean, my dad he was an outdoorsman. My stepdad, he was big in the outdoors. We had a cabin up in New Orleans. We spent our summers up there. We were up there almost every other weekend in the summertime. I mean, the Winches was our playground growing up. It was great. So between him and my
That's
real dad,
amazing.
I had horses, on one side, and then I had three-wheelers on the other side, country on one, rock and roll on the other. And I had the best of all the worlds growing up. I really did.
Yeah.
So I love watching or hearing about couples going, yeah, my wife's my partner. She's out there. She's trudging right along through with me going, okay, where are we going this weekend? What are we looking at?
Yep.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And congratulations on the little girl. Do you guys have a name picked out yet?
Nova Lee.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Nova Lee Elizabeth.
Oh, love that. Nova Lee Elizabeth. Wow.
Yeah. Elizabeth is after my mom.
So is this the first podcast you've mentioned that on yet?
Yes, it is. It is. You heard it first here.
Well, Nova Lee, I will tell you this. Welcome to the world. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Don't let the media fool you.
Absolutely, man.
Remember, God created the earth for us. This is for us. This is all ours. Heaven's a reward. It's not home. This is home. So,
right
Nova
on,
Lee,
man.
welcome home.
Welcome. Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing that. That's so awesome. Well, okay, so tell me about the aggression one, because we're running slightly out of time. So tell me about the aggression one.
Yeah. So we went further southeast, following Salado Creek, and what happened was there was a gentleman that reached out to me on Instagram, and he said, "Hey, Rod, my daughter was out at this specific park on the paved trail." Running with their two full-grown male huskies, right? And something from behind the brush in this area, looking at it, it's thick brush, and it's very hard to see exactly what's behind it. It's very thick. Something growled. He said, I think he said something to the effect of growled and screamed at the same time at my daughter and her dogs, and it shook the brush, and it traumatized her. And he said the dogs that usually will stand and fight for their mom tucked tail and like peed all over the place and wanted to run off. And she got in the car and talked to her dad. Said, "Hey, look, I don't know what this was, but something growled or screamed. It was crazy at me and the dogs, and we're shook. And just let you know what's happening and what happened. I have no idea. She couldn't really, I guess, reconcile what had happened to her. She was very confused and very scared. And the dogs, that was an indicator for me. The dogs that, tuck tail and run and pee all over the place, that was an indicator for me because, dogs are so loyal. They'll stand and fight almost damn near anything for their mom or their dad. And these guys, they wanted no piece of this thing. And they took off. And so he said, hey, here's the area. If I send you the area, more or less, could you go out and investigate? I said, absolutely. That's what we do. So I went out there. I took my wife, went out there, and we went to an area where the water is flowing, the Salado Creek. And it's spring water. It's beautiful. It's clear. It's cold. I was pulling up freshwater clams. I was pulling up crayfish. I saw largemouth bass in this area. It's prime, and the area itself was overgrown. It was we called it Jurassic Park because some of these trees, these cypress trees, were just giant, and I mean these palmetto plants were. I mean, it was insane. These things were well fed and it was healthy. So we were just sitting there going, "Where the heck are we, man? This is beautiful. Like I've never seen my city like this at all." And so we walked along the banks of that creek with the water flowing. And on the right-hand side, I would say probably about 12, 15 foot tall, there is an upgrade where you can, if you take the trail diagonal, you can get up on that upgrade, and there's a trail that runs parallel to the creek, to the water, how it's flowing, right? So the one thing I noticed was when we walked through that area on the banks of that creek, I noticed that I felt like something was walking with us on the high ground. And when we stopped, it would stop. And when we would walk, it would walk. And the interesting part about that was I thought this is classic Sasquatch characteristics, behavior. It really is. The paralleling, the person, when you walk, it walks. When you stop, it stops. Classic. So anyway, in whatever this person or individual or whatever this creature was shaking the trees. For whatever reason, I could see the tops of the trees just shaking. Like it would stop and then walk, and it would shake. It was really weird. And then when I pulled out my camera to video this activity, it would stop. And then I put my camera away, and it would start. And then, oh, wait, I'm going to try and capture it. Nope. It would stop. Almost like it knew I was videoing it. It was really weird. And then my wife gets the bright idea of doing a tree knock. And I'm like, I'm very much, I don't do whoops. I don't do tree knocks. The reason for that is very simple. I don't know what I'm communicating to that creature.
And
I don't
think
know.
They're using, baseball bats and axe handles out in the woods knocking on the.
No, not at all. Not at all. So if I don't know what I'm communicating to this creature, so to speak, or whatever, why am I doing it? Right? I mean, for all I know, it could be a sign of aggression. And then this thing is pissed. It comes down and confronts you. And then what? What are you going to do? Right?
Or a mating call.
Right. Exactly. Right. God forbid. Right. So my wife goes, let me do a knock. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, fine. So she does 2 knocks. We wait there and we're just like, yeah, I'm like, I told you, it's done nothing. we take a few more steps away from that tree, and all of a sudden, I see a rock that's about that big and that wide, just like a 3-pointer, like a fade away, right? I see this arch of this rock just come out of the brush on the other side of the creek and land into the water. And I'm just sitting there going, what? And then after that, 2 growls. Very deep, very guttural. It was like this huge rock I saw just being thrown, boom, into this water, and it had an arc to it. It wasn't like somebody like was struggling to throw it. It was like, ooh, like nice. And then after that, I heard, like huge. I don't even think I do it any justice. I really don't, because this thing had capacity. It was deep, and it had resonance. If you ever listen to any hip hop with the 808 bass, right? It sounded like a growl with resonance. And it cut right through me. Like I was nothing. It went like, and it felt like it was right there in front of me, but it wasn't. It wasn't there. And it instilled fear instantly just in my tracks, just like crazy. And when that happened, my wife turned around and looked at me, and her eyes were like, they're like saucers. She's like, "Did you effing hear that?" And I'm like, "Yes." So we stood there, and I'm thinking, Rod, what do you do? What do you do? Okay, first thing is we get my wife out of here. We gotta get. We back out. I said, "Honey, slowly back out a little bit. Just start slowly. Don't run. Just move back slow." So we move back slowly, move back slowly, move back slowly. And I'm sitting there talking to whatever or whoever this is. And I'm saying, "Okay, we're leaving. It's okay. We're not going to go any further. We're not going to go any further. We're going to go. And we're going to leave you alone." We left, and we got in the car, and we sat there, and it was silent for a while. And I turned and looked at her, and I said, "Holy crap, we got growled at." Like, wow. And that's when it was like, yeah, high five, high fives, like, yeah, all right. Which, some people may not agree with that. But I mean, honestly, we're in the business of investigating. And when we get something like that happening, that is like, whoa, like we got something, And so it was almost like, in a way, like the beginning of Ghostbusters, where they've got their little meter, and they come up to the ghost, and it's a shh, and it's like rah, and you're like, oh, like they had to have left and been like, whoa, yeah, see, yeah, exactly. So that happened to us, and that was a sign of aggression. It truly was, and to this day, I mean, if it was a person, they had to have some lung capacity, and they must have been professionals at throwing their voice out. I mean, I don't know.
We can't make it a deep, because that ties in with a lot with the infrasound.
Yeah,
That they use, and we can't go that deep on a growl. But I will tell
we
you, though,
can't.
when you get
We
growled
can't.
at, I've only been I've been growled at, and I've been huffed at.
Okay.
And yeah, and so the growl was same spot first time though. Before first time we went up there, that's where we found the knuckle track, and right there where we found the knuckle track is where the eye shine was at. About a month later, when we went back, but that first investigation before we found the knuckle track, had the property owner, and I had Jacob with me, And he's like showing us around where they were having activity and everything. And so I'm just kind of like
Mm.
lollygagging along, like, okay, cool, here we are in the woods.
Yeah.
It's cool, checking everything on out. And all of a sudden, I'm right in front of us in the woods with this growl. And I was like, okay, we all heard that, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and then we found it. And so as soon as we heard the growl, and I said, we all heard that, they were both agreeing with me like this, uh-huh. And we heard a small, small tree knock from behind us. And I was like, okay. And then we found the knuckle track. And it was funny because we were taking a break and with the property owners in front of their house. And she goes, well, how was it? And I started smiling. I was going, I got growled at. you know, I was so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
I called my ex going, I got growled at. And she was like, what? I was like, something growled at me. This is so cool. And then that night, and so like you're talking about throwing your voice. So that night,
Yeah.
so Ray is a super nice guy. He's he's a Marine. He, law enforcement. He will not leave the front porch or the back porch at night. Won't do it.
Mm.
And when he found out that we were going to go out at night, he was like, why? I was like, well, that's what you brought me up here for, right? To find out what's
Right.
going on, out here. And he
Yeah.
goes, I'm not going with you. That's okay. You don't have to.
Right.
And his wife kind of goaded him into it. Lisa, you really did. You kind of goaded him into it. And so he did. He came out, and we surveyed everything, had an armadillo encounter, which was fun. We were beside the house, and they were in front. I was in the back, and we got two huffs. And I heard them, both of the huffs come from my right. So Jacob and Ray, though, they were in front of me. They heard it go, left and then right. Because, they were swiveling, the rifles to the left and they're swiveling to the right. And I was like, it was to the right. Like, no, it's left and right.
Right.
So,
Right.
and where they were coming from was too thick for us to try and go through at night, to be honest with you. And we were just like, okay, we're going to have to write that up. But I cannot find anything in Arkansas that could make that huffing sound. The growl, though, so the only thing, and I have to side with the air caution, the growl could have been a bobcat.
Okay.
And the only reason why is that night when we went back down there where the growl was at, it smelled like somebody stepped in cat poop. So cat. I mean, but I wonder though. I wonder if our cats, when they poop, we smell like because the cat food they're eating, and so cat poop in the woods will smell differently.
But yeah, I mean it's different diet, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but to me, it smelled just like a domesticated cat poop. I was like, did somebody step in cat poop? Now, that's not the word that I used, obviously, but I was like, did somebody step in? I mean, we're checking our boots. For cat poop. So, but
yeah.
Nope, nothing.
Wow. Yeah, that's very, very interesting.
So what's your thought? So I love the fact that and you mentioned earlier too, though, about them coming in the urban areas. And I do agree with that because we're encroaching more into the woods. Well, I mean, we're building more, subdivisions. We're knocking down more trees. We're pushing more and more into their territory, and animals have a tendency to adapt. We've got raccoons. I got a possum in my backyard. I mean, my dog treated a possum about 3-4 weeks ago. I mean, the kids were all excited. This poor possum was up in the tree. He's like, what the hell y'all doing? The kids are great. We're taking pictures of this poor thing. Hey, look, we got a possum. And, of course, my kids are 11 and 7, so they thought this was cool. My dog is like looking at the tree, like going, come on down. I'm like, Jack, you're not going to get that possum. But, it's so, and we have raccoons, and we've got, in our subdivisions. So why not, if we're encroaching, because the theory that I'm running on too, like, especially in the paranormal side, with these new subdivisions, you'll find out that this subdivision went up 10 years ago, and there's a house in that subdivision that's absolutely haunted. Why?
Right. Yeah.
There's been no crime, there's no murders, there's no suicides, there's nothing. This family moves in there, and they've had nothing. I mean, it's haunted. So, I think that ties into a lot with the Fey folk of us encroaching into some of these other cryptid territories. And this is them just kind of what's happening. So why not? Why wouldn't Sasquatch be coming in and dumpster diving? Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
They want to eat.
Right.
I don't know why they
Right.
want to eat our food. Our food is horrible with all the chemicals in it,
Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
but a
I
free
mean,
meal is a free meal. I mean, let's just be
uh, y-
honest.
and that's the way I look at it. Opportunistic is what comes to mind. And I'm basing this off of first person encounters. People that you've got so many encounters of these things going into suburban areas. Why is that? Well, because we're encroaching on land that they had probably reside in, they had hunted in, and now there's a new landscape going on, and now they have to adapt, like you just said. But here's the red flag here. Well, not the red flag, the indicator, I would say. If there is a creek like mine running through your city in and around, and you've got habitat that supports big game, and you've got a water source at least within 5 miles, I would say you've got something, because that's a highway. That's a highway that they use to go in and out of the city. It has to make sense. It can't just be a patch of woods with nothing. There has to be a creek or a greenway or a river going through that to make that passage happen. It has to. If you even look at how some people hunt, Native Americans, some animals, they follow rivers and creeks because they know that the water is life and something has to come out and drink and survive. And when it does, well, there you go. There's your opportunity. So that made sense to me. That made all the sense in the world to me. Uh, and that's what I continue to believe. And again, this is not some crackpot theory I just thought up of. I listened to so many encounters and sightings, and a lot of them have something to do with the creek or a river.
Yep,
Why is that?
because they got to drink water too.
Right? Right.
Water is life. We got to have water.
Right.
Everybody's got to have water. Everything's got to have water.
They,
And it's the same. Like I told you when we were first talking, I was like, we share a lot of the same theories, which
yeah.
and that's because we're we're actually out there, and not only are we out there, but we're actually taking every eyewitness. Whether it involves the woo, they disappeared in front of me, or it's mine speaking with me. We're taking
Yeah.
everything, all the evidence
Yeah.
that everybody's putting out there, all the encounters, and we are putting it into a ball because
Yeah.
and that's how we're going to figure these things out. you know
Right.
I saw this thing disappear in front of my eyes. Okay, so was it teleporting, or is it doing an infrasound,
Right.
or is it doing both?
Right.
you know
Right.
so
Yeah.
the fur, is their fur, do they have a lot of clear fur mixed in, which makes them kind of look like they do turn invisible?
Dude. Absolutely. Yeah.
The polar
Why?
bear
How
has
can they? How can they camouflage?
the polar
Right.
bear is, yeah, the polar bear is not white. The polar bear is,
Absolutely, it's
it's
not.
got clear fur on it. you know
Exactly.
we've got
Yeah.
we've got reptiles and amphibians and fish that absolutely can change their colors.
Absolutely, they
They can
can.
blend in.
So these
So
things, I think, are no different. They're no different, other than the intelligence, which I think is higher up than most animals. I think kind of almost up there, possibly with us.
I think they're more intelligent than most people.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're probably right. My philosophy on that, and maybe you've heard me say this, is, I say this all the time, and I fully believe it. And I'm going to say it again. If you believe in some of it, you have to believe in all of it,
I agree.
right? You can't just cherry pick one little thing and go, I believe this. Well, what's the context? The context is this. Holy smokes. Well, I gotta engulf myself and research this. If you're open to some of it, you're open to all of it. You have to be.
Yep,
You have to be.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. I will say that what I saw last year, in Bald Knob, was there for maybe a good 10, 12 seconds at the most. It was there and
Yeah.
gone. And,
Wow.
I mean, I was trying, yeah, I mean, it was 75 yards away. And it was
Right.
just a big black shape. So that's all I can think of. But
Wow.
Rod, I got to bring this in for landing. Tell everybody real quick, where can they find you?
Absolutely. So you could find me on every major platform. Facebook is not as active, but I do have a group there. It's private. It's Bexar County Bigfoot, Bexar County Bigfoot, one word, all together on Facebook. On Instagram, same thing. Bexar County Bigfoot, look me up. TikTok, same thing. And YouTube, Bexar County Bigfoot as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And of course, if you guys are in the San Antonio area and you have any activity going on, reach out to Raj. He's gonna, he can help you out.
Yes, please do. Please
And of
do.
course, and if you do reach out to him, tell him you heard him on the Drunken Cryptids.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
Tell him.
Shameless plug.
Hey, dude, why not, man? You need to.
Ah.
That's yeah, man. Absolutely.
This has been a blast. I do want to have you back on again in the future because I do think we
Yes.
can continue more conversations with everything.
Let's do
I
it.
think as we do some more research together, I am planning a trip to come down to Texas sometime. Then come down actually to San Antonio is where I'm going.
Yeah.
I got to see my brother Rick.
Okay.
So
Rick who?
well, I can't share his last name. He was the very
Is he your
first episode.
is he your brother?
Well, he's my
Or
brother from another mother.
but Rick is not your like brother though.
No, he's a guy from the Army.
Oh, nice, man. Right on.
Yeah, so
Heck
like he's got so his kids and everything. Yeah,
Nice,
they're all
dude.
wanting me to come down. So I've been putting it off, but I do think that
Okay.
I'm going to get my schedule. I got a busy schedule, like we talked about off air, coming up. So I am going to give myself a little break. And here soon, I'm going to go up to Jasper to hang out with Todd Neese, spend a weekend squatching with him, and then I'm going to head on. I want to head down to Texas to see Rick and all them. So that's the plan.
Yeah.
And so then I got other big news that by the time this episode airs, it should be public, which is fine.
Cool, man.
But I'm going to keep on the rest for now. But Rob, man, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much for coming on. You are awesome. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
I feel like you and me could sit around the fire and have a couple brews and just
Oh,
visit
man.
all night long.
I would love that, man. I really would. That'd be great.
Same. Well, I can tell you what, when I come down there, it's going to happen.
Let's do it, man. Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the Drunken Cryptids. Remember, if you've had an encounter and you want to come on the show, email me, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Make sure you're liking and following and subscribing. Give us that 5-star review. Drop a comment. I'm seeing them, good and bad. I'm seeing them. Sorry, some of y'all don't like the intro. I like the intro. But other than that, y'all have yourselves a good night. Keep on squatching. And until next time, keep on squatching.